Hi, everyone. So I've been putting off doing this particular video, but it came up in the course of writing this book, and it's very important. The reason that I have been putting it off is that my goal is to make allyship easy and fun. It cannot always be easy. Sometimes it's going to be hard. And so if it's going to be hard, I'd like to make it fun. And sometimes it can't be fun. Sometimes it has to be boring. So if it's going to be boring, I'd like to make it easy. And this next bit that we're going to talk about is one of the things that a lot of people, myself included, have considered to be incredibly boring and hard. And that is mindfulness, specifically meditation. I really set out to create a way to master the game of allyship that didn't require meditation, mostly because it's a very personal decision. But as I was digging deep into, okay, well, how do I show up as an effective ally? How do I show up as a good listener? What am I doing as a dungeon master? I got to a point where the only thing that I could say that felt honest and true was that my mindfulness practice was an essential part of me being an effective ally. So we're going to take a time on this video today to talk about why mindfulness and allyship is so important. The biggest reason is that allyship, we're going to use the metaphor of allyship today as allyship as a relationship. It's a type of relationship that produces things in the world. When I ally with someone, our intersubjective space, the space between two subjects, and the subject being the inside, my interior, my mind, my heart, my imagination. In a relationship, those two subjectivities blend. And when they blend to sort of a stable level. You might have noticed this when you have someone who's particularly volatile or in a heightened emotional state and you're not. Basically, whoever has the strongest presence, whoever has the strongest energetic signature, whatever language you want to use around it, will typically be matched. And so when people are struggling with their allyship, a lot of times what they're struggling with is getting to an intersubjective space of peace, where good work creativity can emerge. When people are struggling with that, sight unseen, I know that someone in the dynamic or both people don't have a foundation of presence enough for people to be heard and for the appropriate ideas to come to the fore. So a mindfulness practice is a way to be that foundation of presence in whatever rooms you go into with whatever relationship you're in. Because even though sometimes the loudest feelings tend to get the most attention or set the stage for an interaction, if you have a large presence, a presence that can include loud feelings, your own and others, you can be in a position to be incredibly helpful for people. And that's basically what happens in skilled helping. Therapists learn this skill. Zen teachers learn this skill. Coaches that I've used that are really good at it also have this skill. I guess I have this skill. Even customer service people, the people who are able to remain calm, regulated in a circumstance, are just going to have an advantage. And so if you want a way to supercharge your allyship practice, getting your meditation reps in is what's going to do that for you. Now, that's easier said than done. I am not a meditation teacher. I'm not a mindfulness teacher, but I do recognize that this is an important thing for people. I was jamming the other day and the idea came into my mind that said the stream of consciousness has its source in the unconscious. And if allyship is all about management, just moving around, just being of help to people, that thing that you're helping, when you're helping someone else, you're also being of service to their unconscious, a part of them that they can't hold responsibility for, in the same way that you can't hold responsibility for your unconscious. And so mindfulness also becomes a very powerful tool to overcome your unconscious bias, to overcome the shadows in you and the demons that are stuck, that are keeping you from showing up as an effective ally. There's actually a very virtuous cycle between effective allyship, meditation, and the cleaning up and waking up practices. For a lot of people, meditation is for insight. It's the ability to understand one's mind by seeing what bubbles up to the surface. Most people have muddy water. It's a classic meditation metaphor. Their mind is always churning, and so the water never settles. So they only ever see what's going on for themselves when, like a fish, it reaches the top. of the muddy water. But when you've learned to meditate and the water gets clear, you can see what's going on for you before it breaches the surface and causes a problem. And when you're able to do that, you can take that energy that you've used in hypervigilance to make sure that something isn't going to be a problem, and you can extend that to other people, which is great. And you can help people kind of clear their water. It's a lovely time. But another benefit here is that meditation practice will help you develop what I call low cost awareness by spending a large amount of mental energy for focus and eliminating distractions in your mind. You're like going to the gym, you're getting stronger in your mind so that when you're out in the world, the cost of having your attention be split in multiple directions, say you're trying to help multiple people at once, or one person with a complicated issue, you're going to want access to awareness that doesn't bring you into a state where you feel reactive or triggered. One of the benefits of mindfulness is we all fall to our lowest level of development when we're in crisis. And so when someone else is in crisis, a lot of times we will fall to the level of development that has helped us deal with that crisis. For a lot of people, it's where inner child wounding comes in. It's where more volatile emotions happen, because when you're a teen and when you're a child, your emotions are very, very loud. Part of being an effective adult is not necessarily lowering the volume of your emotions, but being able to tolerate increasingly different dynamics. You can hear the parts of you that are very, very soft, and you can hear the parts of you that are very, very loud. You can hear the parts in others that are very, very soft. You can hear the parts in others that are very, very loud. In this intersubjective space, I'm going to just push the metaphor a little bit further. The quality of this intersubjective space also dictates the nature of your allyship game. It's basically your allyship game board. And if you don't have a stable platform to play an allyship game on, it's going to be harder. It's going to be less fun. It's going to be messy. It's going to be chaotic. Me, for example, I don't like the Monopoly game board. I don't really like Monopoly as a game, but especially the game board, not a big fan of it. Go boards, love a go board. As you are thinking about how you want to show up as an effective ally, your mindfulness practice is going to be the thing that helps you sort of suss out on what ground do I want to be an effective ally to people. And if we push this metaphor, because we're also doing this work of kind of changing our minds, changing our operating systems for how we show up as helpers, you can think of the nature of your mindfulness allows you the hard drive space to run the applications of allyship, some of which are games, some of which are just work. But if you don't have memory storage, or your storage is all cluttered because you don't know what's actually going on in your allyship computer, it's going to be really tricky to get stuff done. And when you are in intersubjective space, now you're actually sharing computing resources across two computers. It's kind of like having servers. We don't need to get into it, but these are metaphors that will hopefully push you over the edge to realize, okay, caring about mindfulness matters. And the cool thing is that it doesn't matter for its own sake. You're not a better person for being a meditator. You're not a more effective ally just for doing the meditation, but it's one of those skills, kind of like push-ups, where if you do a bunch of push-ups, you will be stronger. You know, you lift your body enough times so when strength checks happen, you can do them better. When you do your meditation, your mind push-ups, you're going to be better to use your mind to see what's happening in your heart, hold awareness for what's happening to other people, being able to be aware of more subtle details in the stuff that you're doing. There's also a way to clean up your glasses. Again, like I said, with those biases, sometimes it's very difficult to see what's going on for someone because your glasses are too muddied with your beliefs, your thoughts, your ways that the world should be. It's coloring it. Meditation is the practice of being able to clear off your eyeglasses so you can see what's actually happening and respond to it appropriately. Now, you're trying to develop non-reactive awareness so that you can handle the volatility of all the people that you're going to be helping, because chances are people that you're going to be helping are going to be in crisis. And what I want people to know is that there's a thing called relational peace that is the foundation that we're trying to do. I'm kind of tackling this from multiple angles so you can see it. Some people will consider relational peace to be the absence of conflict. That ain't it. In fact, your mindfulness practice really only shows its strength when you are in conflict. So relational peace isn't so much the absence of conflict, but smooth resolution of conflict that comes up. If a rock falls into the water and the water gets disturbed, has the peace left? Only if we're identified with the stillness of the water. There's a larger peace that at the higher levels of your mindfulness practice, you can hold awareness for. Because ultimately, imagining conflict creates conflict. If I'm worried I'm going to be in conflict with someone before I'm actually present with them in real time, I'm going to bring that energy unconsciously to any interaction that I have with them. And if I'm not able to see the fact that I'm already bringing that energy in, when shit goes weird, I'm going to blame stuff that has nothing to do with anything outside of just my own projections that I brought to awareness. The biggest disruptors of peace, unfortunately, are other people and other people's imaginations, because we can't control other people's imaginations. They're going to imagine whatever they want to do. You're going to imagine whatever you want to do. And so your ability to control your own imagination, to control your own mental state, to control your own emotions in a non-strenuous manner, lower the cost of that control, really is the essence of mastery. And so meditation is one of the ways in which, if you want to crank your mastery levels up, there's tons of resources out there. There's clear paths to doing it. And once you've developed mastery in one place, the best thing about mastery is that it tends to across multiple domains. So if you wanted one thing to get really good at, say, spend the next 30, 90 days just on, see about introducing a meditation practice into your life, and then just see how it starts affecting your different relationships.